Now that we've finished the trap, we're going to go ahead and build the bait box. Now, the bait box is pretty simple. There are lots of different options if you want to put your bait in your trap. You could just put the bait in there. You could use a hook, and you can make one using coat hanger or any kind of wire to suspend the bait in the middle of the trap. You could also take some mesh. You know, there are a lot of produce bags that come in a plastic mesh, and you can just tie that up into a ball and then put that in your trap. These are just things that'll help keep your bait visible to crayfish. They'll want to get at it, but they can't really get to it, and it'll extend the life. And I find the bait boxes are really nice because they can get in there, they can tear chunks off, but it's really hard for them to eat all of your bait. And usually once your bait is gone, the crayfish will try to escape and you won't be attracting any new crayfish. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Now, this bait box that we're building is pretty straightforward, and it's also on the smaller side. It's going to be fairly short. As you can see, this is what the finished height is going to be. So just to go over again, you're going to need some pieces for this. You're going to need a bottom piece, and this is 10 by 5 squares. You're going to need a cover that is 10 by 8 squares, so 10 squares going this way, 5 squares, and then 3 squares for the end of it. Your two longer side pieces are 10 by 3 squares, and your shorter side pieces are 5 by 3 squares. So once you've got that all together, you have a couple options. You can do what we did with the trap and actually use a piece of twine or thread to thread this all together. That's a really secure way to do it, but because you're not actually keeping anything out of the bait box, and it doesn't really matter if there are larger gaps, you could just use zip ties or tie a few knots just to get this all together. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this box together with some cord. But it's pretty simple. We'll start with the bottom. I just go ahead and pull some cord through. I like to get enough cord where I can do the whole bait box, and then I just do that same whip stitch along the side. And there's one side. Then I take one of my longer ends, and then I actually go along this edge here first. Once I've gone one way, turn around and I go back down. Make sure it's nice and tight and secure. And then I start working on the bottom edge. So as you can see, pretty simple. You just want to keep going until you've got all of your sides attached to the bottom, as you can see. So I'm going to keep going. I'll show you what that looks like when I've got all of this done. just tie off the end. Just tie it a couple times. And then do an overhand knot. And push the knot as far down as it'll go. Snip the end off. Kind of tuck this onto the side. And there's the bottom of our bait box. You just take the top here and figure out where it's going to go. Take your cord or your string or twine, and then we're going to do this pretty much the same as we did the lid on the trap itself. So you want to whip stitch it and go down one way, and then you want to, when you get to the end, you want to turn around and do it again. So you can see I'm just going around and around this edge. And there we go. So then I just like to tie it off. Alright. There you go. So when you want to use this, you just open it up, throw your bait in there, and you can close it. Now you can make another hook like we did down at the bottom, but what I like to do is something a little more simple. So you could make a hook like this one. What I like to do is just take a large rubber band and put one large rubber band over the middle. That keeps it nice and secure. So, there it is. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.